Here's the dirty, wounded cowboy sleep in her barn. What he left behind changed her life forever. The wind had a bite to it that evening, the kind that seeped into your bones no matter how many layers you wore. Emily Carson was finishing up her evening chores when she spotted him, stumbling down the dirt road, silhouetted by the dying light. His wide-brimmed hat was crooked, his shirt soaked in blood, and he looked like he hadn't eaten in days. She gripped the rake tighter. Strangers were rare in these parts, and wounded ones even more so. He collapsed right against her fence post. Cautiously she approached. He was still breathing, his face weathered and sunburned, lips cracked. "You all right, mister?" she asked, though the answer was plain. He groaned. "Just need a place for the night." "You're hurt." "I've been worse." Against her better judgment, she helped him up. He was heavier than he looked, and half dragged him into the barn. "You can stay here tonight," she said. "But I'm calling Doc Miller in the morning." She cleaned his wound with the first aid kit, gave him some stale bread and water, and covered him with a horse blanket. "Don't try anything funny," she warned. "I ain't got the strength," he muttered, drifting off. By morning he was gone. Emily panicked at first. He was nowhere in the barn, and there was no blood trail. She found no tracks by the road either. But as she went back inside, a large envelope sat on her kitchen table. It wasn't there the night before. Her name was written on it in a shaky scrawl. To Emily Carson. Inside were papers, legal ones, a deed, notarized and signed. 2,400 acres of ranch land in Copper Ridge County. She blinked. It didn't make sense until she saw the last sheet, a handwritten letter. "You could have let me die out there. Most would have, but you didn't. You gave a stranger kindness when he had nothing left to give. This land has been in my family for kin. No heirs. It was almost taken from me by men who would have turned it into condos and strip malls. Now I want it to go to someone who still understands the land, who still believes in decency. That's you. Use it well. Let it live again. J." Callahan's hands trembled. J. Callahan? The reclusive rancher whose land stretched farther than most folks could ride in a day? He hadn't been seen in town in years. No one even knew if he was still alive, but Emily did. He had limped onto her property, wounded and worn, and she had offered him the smallest gesture of kindness. He left her something greater than she could have dreamed of. A second chance. A legacy. That evening, Emily walked out past her fence line, staring into the horizon, where her land now reached far beyond what she'd ever known. The wind blew softer now, or maybe she just stood taller. What he left behind had indeed changed her life forever. Would you like a version of this in a more romantic, dramatic...